What did you make of Vrabel launching himself into the pile and coming out bloodied yesterday?
I liked it almost as much as that sound you played heading into the segment that we can't let our emotions get the better of us as we practice as the way we want to play. Look, I think it was a great reminder that very often Mike Vrabel is a meathead genius, and that applies to just football as a whole, and that there's still that old player that we watched 20 years ago very much inside him. But then also he'll have times where he is a genius meathead, and this was more of the latter, in that he dives in to try to save something without thinking, oh, if I'm at the bottom of the pile and I come out with a fractured forearm, how does that look to a bunch of guys who I just told, be safe, we want to stay healthy, the season is still a month away, and I'm not even wearing pads. So I enjoyed it. I just think we're overlooking the fact that that could have gone very poorly for the new head coach of the Patriots.
How premeditated was that? Do you think that, like,
I
how
don't
much
think at all.
you think
I
it
think
was
he's
just
just
a gut
completely reacting.
instinct that I got to
Yeah, I
protect
mean,
my guys?
the thing about Vrabel is that he has been the same guy since high school. And Michael Holley can tell you this as someone who actually covered him in high school out in Ohio, and that he's sarcastic and he's a smartass and he's tough and he's brilliant when it comes to football. And that also he'll jump in there without second thought. And by the way, this is not the first time he's done this. This happened down in Tennessee a few years ago. So yeah, I think this was just pure Vrabel instinct.
How much of this has to do with the fact that Joe Mazzulla was at camp last week?
Oh, yeah, push hands.
And has he influenced Mike Vrabel to go down this route?
Yeah, I think it's undeniable, Hardy. I mean, look, anything that happens a week ago, has to influence the next week. And this is the clearest and most obvious example in life. I mean, Joe Mazzulla has nothing else to do for the next 12 months but to hang out with Mike Vrabel and try to convert him, because we know the Celtics season is not looking great with Chris Boucher as the new starting center. Come on down. But, look, I think it was funny in retrospect that Mike made a comment about we've got very different personalities, but he likes to learn. So I appreciate that about him. And in this moment, of course, he looks no more like Joe Mazzulla than he ever has before.
Okay. Not that they were giving accounts and descriptions beyond the scope of what is allowed by the NFL, but Zolak and Bertrand yesterday, I heard mention of the fact that when Washington was out there and on offense, a lot of positive plays. A lot of positive plays against the Patriots defense yesterday during the joint practice. And for a team whose defense is supposed to be their calling card and the superior component of this team, did you see that yesterday? And what else did you see defensively before we get into the offensive stuff?
Yeah, I'll start at the end, which was probably their best period, where the Commanders, like Drake May did the series later, had 45 seconds, started the 25-yard line, and the last play of that series was Alex Austin, your new number 3 corner, batting a ball in the way in the end zone from Jaden Daniels to force a turnover on down. So the defense had its moments. The areas that they brought up, because I was watching the defense virtually all of practice, were two problems. Number one is the perimeter run defense was atrocious. Like anytime Washington ran a zone read and handed the ball off, or had a pitch or a toss or whatever it was, they got basically an explosive play. Like the guys on the edge, Keon White, Harold Landry once or twice, not good. The other part is they had real trouble covering Zach Ertz, and this speaks to something in the safeties room where, we know Kyle Duggar and Jabril Peppers and Jalen Hawkins. There's a lot of talent in there, but there's also a lot of overlap. And the skills that they're missing, specifically covering man-to-man or just one-on-one in some of these zone coverages that convert to man as the routes develop, is missing. And that showed through. Part of that is going to be adjustment to the new scheme. But, Jaden Daniels started 4-4, and a lot of those throws were 15 yards downfield. He cooled late, but those are the two big issues that I think those guys are hinting at.
But taking a look at it from a macro point of view, I read you and Mike and Phil, and it seemed to me that the Patriots were better than this overall. It seemed to me that all of you came away with the theory that maybe the Patriots got the better of things by a slim margin at the end of the day.
Yeah, I do think so. I think they were faster and more athletic, which is drawing, considering how many times we've not said that for the last 5, 6, maybe 7 years, even the end of the Brady era. And accounting for Jaden Daniels as the other quarterback of the other team. But, after that first period or two for the starting defense where they were getting carved up, you had a sack from Harold Landry, Marcus Jones, Christian Barmore got through with a couple of pressures. Milton Williams is more or less a non-factor, which is not great for a guy getting his paychecks. But the point is, once the defense evened out and you're watching the offense start to finish, the offense had the better performance start to finish. So that, to me, is what gave them the slight upper hand.
Okay. Let's talk a little bit more about the offensive line because it's been 45 seconds since it was mentioned by anybody anywhere. Will Campbell obviously still I guess the main topic of conversation there, but as a unit, there was some shuffling going on last week and trying to different positions. Is it coming together with any consistency yet?
Not yet, Hardy, and it's due to a couple of things. Number one is that Cole Strange entered as their starting left guard and they got demoted after a week, and that has not changed. Jared Wilson, their third-round rookie, who they're really, really happy with, and I think for good reason, is now that starting left guard. So you got a lineup change on one side. The opposite side, Morgan Moses is on this largely load management plan, though he sounds a little bit nicked up, and he didn't perform at all yesterday, which leaves a revolving door of old pal Demontre Jacobs, who we watched for most of last season, and didn't have many good things to say at our televisions while we were doing so, as well as a seventh-round rookie in Marcus Bryant. And so, Mike Onwenu really has been the lone pillar there of consistency in terms of availability and of performance. The one person I've not mentioned, of course, yet is Will Campbell. And Will Campbell continues to be a mixed bag at left tackle, which I don't think should shock anyone. And that number one, rookie offensive tackles, even those drafted in the top 5 and top 10, historically are not very good as rookies. Number two, when I say mixed bag, there are some flashes of you see the athleticism that even when he might lose the initial part of a rep, he's still holding on because of how flexible and how strong he is from a position that doesn't look good, but he's keeping the guy in front of him. So Zach Cox and Doug Herald did a great job. They watched every single rep of the offense and came away with him getting a win, a tie, and a loss, an individual pass rush, and giving up probably a couple of pressures in what was, 30 to 40 snaps of the starting offense.
Okay.
What you saw all of this action yesterday, but the two teams still have a game to play tomorrow night. I mean, how much are we going to see the starters tomorrow evening based on what you saw yesterday?
So my sense would be, Wallach, that it's probably a series or two, maybe three. And this will depend on the player. Like the Patriots this training camp, more than any time in the Belichick era and last year with Gerard Mayo, are really treating players on an individual basis when it comes to their health and, again, their load management. So, for example, sometimes Harold Landry just got an off day last week on a Wednesday. Morgan Moses, I've told you, has been in and out of the lineup. Carlton Davis gets to apparently take off every practice except for walkthroughs because that's the only time we've seen him. So history would tell us, and Mike Vrabel did yesterday, okay, the guys will probably start, and then they'll exit because all of the starters got a lot of run yesterday. And ultimately, if anyone got hurt, August 8th or whatever it's going to be, August 8th tomorrow, there's no good way to explain that, of why we had those guys out there. So I think it'll be quick.
Okay, and how much different is it than last year? You mentioned that, they're treating players individually. I remember after the first joint practice last year, people were flipping out about how crappy everything was. Is there a considerable sense of more professional? It's a more professional operation. Did the players seem more talented? Like, what's your overall read compared to last year?
Absolutely more talented. And I'll put it this way. When the Eagles did come in last year and kick the Patriots' ass, there was a big talent gap. There was a big coaching gap. Everything was evident. Okay, the Eagles, of course, go on to play the Commanders in the NFC Championship game. And we all know the Eagles are much better than the Commanders. But the Commanders come in here yesterday at the same place and face the same team with the same logo in the Patriots, and they were not the better football team, the team that was in the NFC title last year. So what does that mean? It means all the talent the Patriots brought in via the draft and free agency and flipping over 48% of the roster has shown some improvements. As far as the coaching goes and the energy, it is the most competitive training camp we've seen, I think, in the last 5-6 years, really since the end of the Brady years. And it's not just to do with the talent, it's the tempo. So that has been balanced with, again, the load management piece, which Belichick never really did anything with. Mike Vrabel going, hey, we're going to have 3 walkthroughs in the first 12 days of practice. And it shocked me. But the only one I really quibbled with was day 3, because I just think everyone probably had more to give on day 3 of training camp, knowing day 5 was going to be an off day. But the point is, they're working smarter. And then when they are working hard, it's as competitive and fierce as any camp that I've seen. So it's so far so good.
Well, I have one question about the wide receivers. Terry McLaurin wasn't there yesterday for Washington. I'm curious, from your point of view, did yesterday push the Commanders to trade McLaurin to the Patriots or to keep him?
No, I think it pushed the price up for his agent, who just had to be smiling at all of the tweets coming in about how Jaden Daniels started well, but they couldn't complete a single pass to a receiver because their receiver stunk and probably do stink without him. So that's nothing new in Washington. I think he's going to stay. I know Diana Rossini said in your airwaves yesterday that like he's just going to stay and there's no chance he gets traded. And I think she's right.
I didn't even think about until you mentioned the fact that, the starters might be in there for a series or two because it's, Drake May, it's Will Campbell, it's Stephon Diggs. It's going to be a lot of Josh Dobbs tomorrow night.
Yep.
This is the first Patriots camp in a long time where the quarterback situation is, I would say, clear cut from the start, and also not much else to talk about other than the starter. I mean, this probably hasn't happened going back to the first post-Brady year.
Yeah, how about this? You just feel good about it, right? Like there is certainty here, and you go, okay, I know the guy, and I know he's talented, and there's been no kind of calm about this since 2019, because 2020, of course, we didn't get any preseason or training camp. You didn't know how much Cam Newton, who signed in June of that year, had left, and then he's battling a rookie after throwing more picks and touchdowns the year before. So, yeah, you're absolutely right. I will say, though, because the amount of work that Josh Dobbs got in yesterday, Doug Hyde had him 18 to 22 for us at the Herald. I think Ben Woldridge is also probably going to get a lot of run because this is what happens in the joint practices. You get a ton of snaps there and reps. That's what the coaching staff counts as kind of your work for the week. And then the other guys who didn't play a whole lot, well, now you have to see them in the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, it's exciting.
Oh,
I mean, you get 3 series into that thing.
Okay, so yeah, the Josh Dobbs, exciting enough. Woodridge, who is it?
Woolridge? Is that
Woldridge.
Right? Woldridge.
Yeah,
Sorry.
that's who I'm excited about.
Yeah.
The possibility of seeing him for like maybe an entire half.
That's the first time I've heard that name in my entire life, and I'm on this station.
Joe Milton's replacement is the third stringer.
Oh, Joey Milt. I mean, you've heard the rumors about his career going up.
Oh yeah,
he's got a cannon.
If you can picture a quarterback who's just the complete diametric opposite of Joe Milton, that's Ben Woldridge. I'll put that.
So he's smart.
That's it.
For all the latest from the Sports Hub, download the app at 985thesportshub.com.